This is The Rumor Report with Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club.
So listen up.
Yes, Michael Jordan still putting up those big numbers. Now let's talk about The Last Dance, the first two parts of his highly anticipated docuseries on ESPN. Now, it aired on ESPN and ESPN2. On ESPN alone, it broke all kinds of records. It drew 5.7 million with and the second episode followed with 5 million, but combined on both networks, it averaged 6.1 million viewers. That's huge numbers for ESPN.
Absolutely.
Now, the docuseries won't net him any money because he's actually going to be donating all that money to charity. So all of the proceeds that he will receive, which is estimated to be around $3 or $4 million, will be going to charity.
So remember those numbers in 20 years because we will pull them up and compare them to LeBron James documentary when his comes out 20 years from now. That's just the way we are as a people.
All right. Now, Idris Elba is under the gun from people, and that is for saying that we should quarantine a week every year. Listen to this.
I think that the world should take a week of quarantine every year just to remember this time and remember each other. Other species use it. It's called hibernation, but it does remind you that the world doesn't tick on your time.
Yeah, I didn't understand why everybody was so mad.
No, I don't see the problem with
I don't understand, the fact that this happened, the fact that we lost so many people, but the fact that it brought a lot of families closer. So, I mean, I didn't see why people were so upset with what he said.
Well, it's not a great experience for everyone. It's great if you're staying in a really nice home, if you're still getting paid, if you're comfortable, but it's a nightmare for some people. So I guess for the people who are going through it, they said nobody wants to be reminded about the coronavirus. Idris Elba needs to take his own advice. And, some people agreed. And I think you would agree if you're comfortable and you're not going through some type of tragedy. But if you are, it's not a great time.
Yeah, but I think I take what he's saying as, isolation is a form of self-care. Sometimes you do need to disconnect. Sometimes you do need to just be with your family. You do just need to be away from everybody for a week. I do it all the time. That's what I took from it.
And then I also thought that, the fact that they said it healed the earth. They said it was healing the earth.
Some people were on Twitter saying, get a grip. People can't afford to just stay at home for a week. And some people do have to work and make money. Some people were saying, do you think those poor people who live in tower blocks with sick kids running crazy would want to do this? You fool. So listen, if you're having a struggle right now, it's not fun. And
listen, some people see the glasses happen. Some people are just pessimists and they will see a problem in every solution, everything. Like you can't even argue with people like that.
I think it depends on your situation. Like we had the police officer call this morning and talk about all the domestic violence calls for those people. Remembering coronavirus time is a nightmare and they might not want to do something like that. So it just all depends on your situation. All right. Now, Birdman has offered to pay the rent for New Orleans residents. He said, I would like to offer to pay everybody's rent for the month of May for those who are in need and residents area of uptown New Orleans, where I was born and raised at. And he said, I would like to support us and accomplish this. And he also shouted out Q93, shout out to our girl Uptown Angela. He wants them to help out. He spoke with Angela as well. And he said, our mayor will help support this cause, Mayor Cantrell. And also he wants to thank the hospitals on the front lines, risking their life to save lives. I want to thank everybody that works with the Gladys and Johnny Foundation and my company, Cash Money Records. So he's planning
That's a blessing.
to do that. Mm-hmm.
Dropping the clues bombs for Birdman. That's a blessing.
Yeah, coronavirus isn't a fun time for people who can't afford to pay their rent. So I'm sure, again. Now, Dwayne
Y'all know that's not what Idris meant, though.
No, he wasn't talking about that.
We got to stop doing that. Like, we know Idris didn't mean it like that.
He wasn't talking about that. He was talking about people.
I know it's not what he meant, but I think that it is also important to be empathetic to people who aren't in a great situation like you are, who aren't comfortable living in a nice home.
I think he was empathetic. I think he was looking from a different angle, from people mental health and for people staying together as a family and helping this country as far as they said the pollution rates are down and all that other stuff. That's how I think he was looking at it. I don't think he was looking at it like, hey, if you ain't got no money, stay in your shack. No, that wasn't. I don't think that's what he meant by at all.
Well, he said that he was talking about like hibernation, how some animals hibernate.
He's right. So, your therapist tells you that all the time. Your therapist will tell you to disconnect. Your therapist will tell you to just take time to yourself. Your therapist will tell you to get away for a couple of days. Like they got mental health breaks at jobs. Yes, 100%.
All right. Well, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your Rumor Report.